And welcome. We are live. And this is our continuation of our Hebrew reading group. We are doing Psalm chapter 17 this week. There's some difficult stuff here. I hope that Henry will also join us as we go along. Let's put our names up there so everybody knows who he is.
We have
here we go.
Customary beer drink.
Yeah, he's got his customary devil juice, and I got some Coca-Cola Zero because that's what we drink.
I used to have a Coca-Cola
Zero.
I feel like the odd man out today.
Aren't you always?
Muriel.
No, I'm always the odd one out.
That's not
yes,
true.
Indeed.
Leader.
Hi, Muriel. What's up? Welcome. I wonder if Adel is out there. I found out last week that I've been saying his name wrong for like 2-3 years. I always say Adele, like the singer. It's Adel with an I in the beginning. Adel.
Oh, yeah. I was singing it like Adele, like Adelphia.
What is like Adelphia?
Adele.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And that's Greek. Let's check that out there because that's nice. Philadelphia.
Max
Max is here with us. Yes, that is Max. Hello. Max joined us on the Discord server. Let's throw the Discord link out there because that's a new thing for us, and we're trying to build that up. It's the Hebrew Cafe. You should be able to access it by going to Hebrew Cafe/Discord. That should give you a link.
Has anybody touched the website recently? The HebrewCafe.com?
Not recently. Well, I did upload the
bio on
where did Colton go?
Where'd Colton
go? Yeah, the HebrewCafe.com/Discord should get you there. If it doesn't, I need to update the link. I don't know if I have to update it every week or what.
I tested it
and
yesterday.
This is the word Philadelphia, brotherly love. Yes. Great. Welcome, guys. We are now at 4 viewers, and we're going to jump in. This week, I figured I do things a little bit differently because I want to introduce you to how to use, for example, the Step Bible. So next week, I will try to figure out the other one that Henry is suggesting. That is the Parallel Bible, which I don't know.
Bible, yeah.
Parabible.
Yeah, it's good
but
too.
Right now, you would point your browser basically to stepbible.org. Stepbible.org. It defaults to the ESV, I believe. Yeah, the English Standard Version. You can see it at the top right there in the tab. It says ESV. But what we can do is open different versions. We just pull down. It's opening up what I already had. But how do I clear this out?
You just have to uncheck them.
Yeah, I just want to clear it out so that I can. Okay, so let's imagine that we pulled up our book, our Step Bible, and we want to go to a specific chapter. So we're going to go to Psalm right there, Psalm, and then click chapter 17 because that's what we're going to. It'll pull it up. Then over at the top left, it's got the versions. We can hit Ancient. Down here, THOT is the Translator's Hebrew Bible, Hebrew Old Testament. We're going to grab that. And I want to throw in for good measure just the NIV because I like to have it for comparison purposes. So
the nearly infallible version. The nearly infallible version.
And so the order that we have them is ESV, THOT, and NIV. And it shows at the top. If I want to put, for example, the King James, I can just, instead of ESV, I can just say KJV. And it
What's
will pop it up on
Tyndall House?
Translator's Hebrew Old Testament.
I do think it is. I do think it is, in fact, a Tyndall House publication, though.
Maybe. Because the Step Bible is related to Tyndall House also.
Yeah, it's a Tyndall House thing.
That's why it has the THGNT, the Tyndall House Greek New Testament. So once I've done that, I've got the versions that I want.
Henry needs a link.
I'll send it to him.
Okay. All right, if you don't mind. Sorry, I forgot to do that. I just assumed that everybody's on the the Patreon. So once I got everything lined up, I can hit this increase size of panel to get rid of the top row, so it goes away. Hit F11 to go full screen, and suddenly we got a big old Hebrew text right in front of our eyes with English Standard Version above it and the NIV below it. So it'll give us a good comparison as we go through the text. You'll notice that 17:1 is listed twice. The first one because it is in the ESV and the NIV, it's got a prayer of David as a superscript that isn't part of verse 1. And so it repeats verse 1 down below it, but actually starts the verse in the English version. And I see that Henry's here, so we're going to bring him up on stage and get started.
Hi, Dr. Sun.
Hello, Jonathan. Hello, everybody.
Howdy, welcome. Okay, so with that, we got a lot to get through. We got 15 verses, and some of these verses can be a little bit difficult. So we're going to go through them one by one. And who wants to begin? This is italics because it's a repeated verse. Oh, I should also mention that when you come on here, you need to go to settings for original language. I'm going to make this a bit smaller. Original language options, and then hit display Hebrew accents if you want to see the accents. Because if you don't hit that, then it won't show the accents by default. All right. This is just to help people to get onto Step Bible. It's a good resource for free if you don't have Logos. Logos is a bit expensive. So, all right. Who wants to begin reading?
I'll start because I actually have a question about this verse that I haven't seen addressed. But so let's see how that goes. So Tefillah l'David, Shema Adonai Tzedek, Hashkiva Renanti or Renonti. So someone help me with my Renati. Thank you. Ha'azina Tefilati below Siftei Mirma. So the first two words are the superscription of the psalm, which is a prayer to, for, of, or about David. And we had the conversation last week about whether the Lamed indicates authorship or something else, so I won't repeat that. The Shema is an emphatic imperative, masculine singular, so give ear, O Lord. And Tzedek is normally taken as the object of what's being heard. I think the BHS notes suggest that it may be missing a first-person suffix, so that it should be, hear, O Lord, my righteous cry or my righteous plea. And then give heed.
If we did have a suffix and it was mine, how would we say it? Not Tzedek, but
Sidki.
Sidki. Sidki.
Sidki, right? Give heed to my cry. Listen to my prayer. And this, I think, is an unmarked relative clause, which comes without deceitful lips.
Yeah, which means my prayer is without lips of deceit.
Right. And so the kind of the question that I have, which I haven't seen anyone suggest, so I think I'm undoubtedly wrong, is whether tzedek can be an adjective modifying Adonai. Hear, O righteous Lord, as opposed to hear, O Lord, righteously. I think some translations treat it as an adverb.
That's right, because the normal noun form is tzedakah. Tzedek is usually an adjective.
Well, be that as it is, I couldn't find any other place where tzedek is used as an adjective with the divine name, and so that's probably why people aren't going that way. But it would eliminate the need to have conjectural emendation on tzedek, and it would make sense to invoke the righteous Lord, because at other times the righteous God is invoked. So, anyway, so that was kind of the question.
You can mute when you have a problem like that.
Sorry, I have a problem. I'll take myself off stage momentarily. I'll be back.
Okay.
Shema Adonai Tzedek.
Yeah.
You notice in the ESV it says, "Hear a just cause, O Lord."
Right.
As if tzedek. Yeah, tzedek is maybe like prayer or a cry or something like that. That it's a cry for justice.
Correct. That's, I think, the normal way to do it, which is, I think, why BHS suggests that it's been its first person suffix has been lost, and it repoints to this 𝗔𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗙 that would align it with 𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗘𝗦 and 𝗕𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗘𝗧. So that anyway, that was just the wondering I had when I first read it, is whether tzedek, instead of functioning as the object of shimcha, could be an adjective describing Adonai. So it's "Hear, O righteous Lord, give heed to my cry, listen to my prayers."
I think if it were that, because Adonai is a definite noun, it's a personal name, I would think you would expect it to be Shim'a Adonai HaTzadik.
Yeah, maybe.
Shim'a Adonai HaTzadik, O Lord the righteous.
Yeah, very possible.
But you could amend it that way too. I mean, Tzaddik.
Well, right.
And
once we amend it one way, we could amend it 1,000 ways if we wanted.
Exactly.
He sounds like Carl.
Who?
Wonder how Carl is doing. No, you don't know him.
You can go find out.
Okay.
You can go find out. He's being active on the forum.
I'll do it later.
Great. Good. Verse 2. Who would like to tackle?
I'll do that one.
All right.
מלפניך משפטי יצא.
Mishpatai.
Mishpati.
Oh, I'm sorry. I read it wrong. Sorry.
Plus, if it were Mishpatai, it would be Yitz'u.
I moved it. Apparently I'm Hamatzli dyslexic.
עיניך תחזינה מישרים.
Right.
From before you, my justice, let my justice come from before you. Your eyes have let your eyes see the just things.
Upright.
What is right? Yeah. Things that are just.
All right. Let my sentence, my justice, like my judgment, like you've judged me, let it come forth from before you. Right? You are the one who judges me. Right? And your eyes are the ones that would see that I do right things. Like when you look at me, you will know that I've not, broken the law. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
I don't know.
Milefanecha is a panim, and lefanim to the face, lefanecha to your face, before you, from before you. Yeah.
One thing I'll note, since the BHS footnotes aren't in the Step Bible, they are suggesting that enecha be repointed as ani, my eyes. So let my cause go before you. Let my eyes see justice or righteous or uprightness or whatever. So they are amending. They're removing the kaf on anecha and turning that into my eyes.
Oh, very fun. Let my eyes look upon what is right.
Yeah. It says that the Septuagint goes in that direction, that the Septuagint has the first singular suffix, not the second singular suffix.
The interesting.
And we can add the Septuagint also.
Yeah, and that's actually, I'm going to bring up my Septuagint on another screen while you're talking about that.
Mm-hmm. We can add the Septuagint. So we see verse 2. 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗧 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗧 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗧 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗧. I don't. Yeah, my eyes. Let them see upright things or good things.
Why are our numbers so low? Everybody's watching the Republican National Convention, I guess.
Oh, is that happening right now?
Yeah.
For the next 4 days.
Yeah. Why? Anyway, we're not talking politics.
Right.
But I was about to say, why have anything for 4 days? That's stupid.
I love conventions that last 4 days. Why not?
Well, what about?
I'm going to a convention next month that will be 2 nights, 3
You
days.
should come
That's
to
gonna be fun.
SBL with me. If you go, I'll go. Have the
You buy me a
international.
ticket to the States, I'll go.
Oh, well.
If I lived in America, I would jump around to all of these things. But,
If I had an extra $10,000, I would pay for it.
yes. There you go. So
But
verse
it's
3,
not that
Yonatan,
All right.
𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗘𝗏, the Lord has given.
Okay. Well, you heathen. 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗡𝗙 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗙𝗘 𝗪𝗡𝗙𝗦 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪𝗡
Yavor,
𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪𝗡. It is a kamatz katuf. Okay, so test or try my heart, visit me by night, or oh wait, no, that's not it. Well, that's what 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪𝗏.
maybe in the past, instead of an imperative, you have tested
Yeah.
my heart. You have visited at night.
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
tested
they're both
my heart.
perfect.
Yeah, that's right. By night, you have purified me, something like that.
Refined me.
Yeah. 𝗙𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗢, you will find no wickedness. No, or zamam is to ponder, right?
Maybe to
No, matzah.
plan.
No, zamati.
Oh, yeah. That's a contested
Zamot.
term.
Propose or ponder. Yeah, so you ponder.
So
you do not. Oh, this
you
is
have you have tested me that you not find, and this is an embedded sentence without asher, that I have planned that my mouth not transgress. Something like that.
yeah, okay. I'm not used to
But
saying all.
notice the presence of bal.
Yeah,
Bal
I was
is
gonna
negative.
say. Yeah, I don't see that very often. I guess that's where levilti comes from.
Maybe.
Negating the,
I think it is
negating
related.
Yeah.
Seems to be
Yeah.
related. But bilti will negate infinitives mostly.
Yep. Yep. But they're both negative particles. So, but yeah, NRSV says
it can also negate nifal when it's used as an adjective. Like bilti nir'ah means invisible, like not seen. Bilti nir'ah.
Cool. So the NRSV says, if you try my heart. That's interesting. They supply a conditional. If you try my heart, if you visit me by night, if you test me, you will find no wickedness in me.
Yeah, the NIV says, though you.
Yeah, so where
Though
are they
you
getting
probe my heart, though you examine me at night and test me, you will find that I have planned no evil. My mouth has not transgressed.
I'm thinking it's getting that, it's supplying that if because of the change in the conjugation, change in the.
It's supplying it. It's taking the perfects as irreal perfects, which is
we see that a lot with conditionals.
Oh no,
you had done this.
It's keeping it that way because of the just of 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗃, I bet. So it's keeping the irreal sense of the imperfect and taking it over to the perfects.
But the perfect is often used as a conditional, even in non-poetry.
Yes, but usually doesn't it have eam?
It doesn't have to.
I'm not used to seeing it without eam.
But eam it's also one of those kinds of discourse marker things that poetry would leave out too.
Yep.
Yeah. Bachanta libi, had you tested my heart. Pakarata laila, traftani, val timtsa zamuti. Balya Volpi. It's a interesting structure. Very nice.
Yes.
And just,
Yeah.
I'm not disputing the conditional sense of it, but all of that presumes that timtsa is a future tense, not a preterite tense. And given the interplay between the prefix and the suffix conjugations, that does not always have to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
You've tested me, you visited me, you scrutinized me, you haven't found that is a possible translation because there is a past tense prefix conjugation that is frequently used in poetry. That's not to say that that's the translation I would support here, but it is a translation that is possible.
Yeah, so the NASB, the good old NASB, has it as non-conditional.
How do they translate it, Jonathan?
You have tried my heart. You have visited me by night. You have tested me, and you find nothing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I like the NASB.
Okay.
Good. How's
Indeed.
that for an appropriate response?
I was not expecting that response. I truthfully, I was expecting no response.
That was the Bible I read at Wheaton before the NIV came out my sophomore year. I have very fond memories of the NASB, especially their italics to indicate what they added for English sense that wasn't in the original languages.
I much, much, much prefer the NASB to the NIV any day of the week. Anyway,
Okay.
moving on.
Verse 4.
Right.
לפעולות אדם בדבר שפתיך, אני שמרתי אורחות פריץ. All right. פעולה is an activity for the activities of man, meaning with regard to man, like the ESV has it, I think. In the matter of your lips. Okay, in the matter of your lips. בדבר שפתיך. Ani shamarti, and the shamarti here means avoided, I've kept away from. Ani shamarti ኦרחות פריץ, the paths of a violent person or a robber. With regard to the activities of man in the matter of your lips. With regard to the works of man by the word of your lips. I wonder what that means.
I wonder if it is causal, because of or by reason of.
By the word of is what this one has.
Yeah, I wonder if it's causal.
The footnote says, oh, it just gives cross-reference information.
Notice the Greek. Hopos an melalese to stomamou ta ergaton anthropon. In order that my mouth might not speak the works of men. Dietos logos ton 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗡𝗥𝗡.
Get the Greek out of here.
𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗡𝗥𝗡.
I'm just kidding.
Greek is pretty.
Not
Yeah.
pretty.
We're going to come across a lot of sentences. Like when it's translated to English, I still don't know what that means. With regard to the works of man by the word of your lips, I have avoided the ways of the violent. I have avoided the ways of the violent makes sense. But what is all that? With regard to the works of man by the word of your lips. Maybe by use of your word, the word of God, I have avoided.
Yeah, that would be a causal, or that would be some type of a reason for why he has kept himself, right?
Perhaps. Max says God's word instructed him to avoid. That is by obeying God's word, I have avoided the ways of the violent. That's quite possible. But what is this NIV? Though people tried to bribe me. Though people tried to bribe me. That makes no sense at all.
Though people to bribe me?
Yeah, you see the NIV. Though people tried to bribe me, I have kept myself from the ways of the violent.
I wonder if that is a specialized interpretation of pe'ula. Well, BDB does talk about
Maybe. See, yeah, it says that the
BDB does
wages
say
are recompense of man.
right, and so maybe with respect, the recompense of a human recompense could be a bribe. Maybe that's what they're thinking.
Perhaps for the bribes of man in the word of your lips, I have kept. That's how I've kept away from the paths of the violent. Okay, that makes sense.
The other thing that interests me about this is why they put the personal pronoun ani in front of 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗥𝗡. It's not necessary, so it's got to be some kind of emphasis, but I'm not sure where the emphasis lies.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in contrast to human bribery, because of the word of your mouth, I have indeed kept myself from violent ways, or the ways of violence, or something like that. Maybe that personal pronoun interests me because it's not necessary. So I wonder what it is adding to the psalm.
Ani shamarti, as opposed to other people.
Yeah. So me as opposed to, but yeah. So anyway, that's just my sort of interest in verse 4.
You would think that the min prefix would be necessary. Ani shamarti me orchot parit me. Why would that be optional?
Say that again.
I would change this as far as the meaning. Like I would say nishmarti me orchot parit. Like nishmarti, I kept myself. I was kept.
Preposition in front of orchot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Adel tells us that according to your words I have kept, etc. That in the Arabic translation it is causal. I'm not sure how that would affect the meaning. I wish that we had him online so he could explain to us like the sense that would change.
So BDB
maybe later.
BDB for shamar says watch or observe with the purpose of avoiding.
Wow, that's interesting.
𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗥𝗡 says to take care of, preserve, protect, but doesn't explain how that would work in Psalm 17:8. And I got to find what in DCH says keep, guard, preserve, protect, take care of, and lists Psalm 17:8 under that. But neither 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘 or DCH make as much sense to me as BDB does for this verse.
We do have a comment from Max saying, can we read the subject as the object of shamar? He didn't guard himself. That's reflexive. Wouldn't the object be ways? Like I myself have guarded the ways of violence, which sounds the opposite of what we'd want him to be saying. If we wanted to make ani the object, obviously you can say oti shamarti, I kept me, right? You could say that hypothetically. Oti shamarti me orchot parit. It does have a weird feeling because if you take it directly as written, I myself have kept the ways of the violent, which seems really wrong, and I think that's why it's not understood that way.
Yeah. And I made a mistake on 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘 is citing Psalm 17:8, not 17:4. So I made a mistake in reading 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘.
You know what, Henry? You could very easily cut that down from 5 syllables into 2 by just saying hallowed, which is what most people say.
That's not the way I learned it. It's BDB, 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘, and
that's
DCH.
because when you learned it, that it first came out.
It was just HAL back then.
It was
HAL.
AT back then because the English didn't exist.
Oh yeah, German. That's right. That's right. It was originally.
Notice that the word in the Greek skleras is a feminine adjective, feminine plural accusative, and it's modifying hodous, which are the ways. So they take it in the Septuagint as saying, look at it. It says, "𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗪𝗛 skleras." It means that I have kept difficult ways. So they do take it as positive. I have kept or I have guarded. But instead of paritz being violent, they took it as meaning something difficult. Like, I don't know how you would get that from the Hebrew, but the Septuagint takes it differently, not saying I have kept violent ways or the ways of a robber, but I have kept difficult ways. Like, even though life was hard, I maintained it. Even though obedience was difficult, I maintained it. So the Septuagint kind of takes it a different way, which I kind of like. All right, we're back to,
Sorry, Krauss thinks that the end of this verse is textually corrupt, and
I think that's safe to say.
He modifies it in a different way than that. His translation
In which
is
way do you take it?
from the ways of the robber, my steps have desisted. So he takes 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗥𝗩𝗘 with the beginning of verse 5.
Ah, okay, all right.
Speaking
But as written, verse 5, yeah.
𝗕𝗏𝗦 𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗃 𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗃 Baal Namoto Pe'amai.
And that is stressed on the right syllable, namotu. Namotu.
Namotu. Okay, thank you for correcting me. So as it's written, tamok is an infinitive absolute. So the implied subject seems to be God. So hold my steps in your paths. I think that's what that word means. Lest my feet slip. And so I take namotu as a nifal perfect third common plural, whose subject is pe'amai with negative adverb vowels. So hold fast my feet in your paths. Let that my feet will not slip, or something like that.
So you're taking tamoch seemingly as an imperative?
Yeah, an infinitive absolute.
The infinitive absolute actually can function as any tense.
Right.
Like not necessarily imperative. It could also be the past.
Right, but I'm taking it as the imperative. So the implied subject is the Lord. The object is Ashurai, and then 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗃 is hold my steps, my path, my whatever, in your path.
So you're taking tamoch like litmoch, like to support. Support my steps in your paths.
Yeah, when I check the lexicon, BDB is grasp, support, or attain. Hallowed, to make Jonathan happy, seems to mean to take hold of. And DCH, detch, is to hold, keep hold of, or hold fast to.
Don't we all make little changes in order to satisfy Jonathan's desires?
Jason, I don't ever want you to talk about you satisfying my desires.
Hey, now. The word namotu calls to mind Psalm 121 that we'll get to eventually. And it says, Al yiten lamot raglecha. He will not let your feet stumble.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's, or to slip, right, when you're walking. And that's exactly what we see here. But this is nifal.
Right. So if you weren't going to take that tamoch as infinitive absolute functioning as an imperative, how else might it be taken?
Well, look what they say here. My steps have held to your paths. Like Ashurai would be taken as the subject, and tamoch, because its infinitive is not it's not declined for subject or for anything like that. The infinitive absolute can be used for any tense. It can use for the past, for the future, and infinitive. Like it can be used for anything.
But in that case, wouldn't we expect the infinitive construct? Or am I overthinking this again?
Only the infinitive absolute is going to be used in place of a finite verb.
But the holding of my
And-
feet, okay. It to me, I thought I heard, maybe I misheard. I thought the holding of my feet is my feet are being held. I would have, my instinct, right or wrong, would have been that an infinitive construct in construct with its head down. But I might be.
I wouldn't take it as the anything of my feet. Like the infinitive absolute is not going to be tied together to a subject in that way.
Okay.
I want to find real quick where no, I have to hold on. I have to tell this to float the window. I don't know why you have to do that. Why can't you just pull a window out in Logos? But let's see the infinitive absolute. Hold on. There is a section in here where they specifically talk about the infinitive absolute and its use instead of a instead of a finite verb, but I don't remember where it is. I've got to find it.
Can I mention the comment Craigie makes in his Word Biblical Commentary? He says, Tamok pointed in the MT as an infinitive absolute is interpreted as an imperative in the Septuagint, the Vulgate, and the Targum, but context indicates that a plural form of the verb should be read as indicated in BHS. So he is amending the text to Tamaku. My steps are
see, and that would take Ashura as the subject for sure.
Correct. That's how he is. So he translates my steps held firmly in your tracks, as opposed to hold my steps firmly in your tracks. So that's how Craigie handles the infinitive absolute problem.
I always had trouble with the infinitive absolute used in the Ten Commandments, which I believe Max just commented on. Sorry, hold on. Let's see. Yeah, he brought it up from Exodus 20, verse 8. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad is what we say when we're mentioning it. You should say keep the Sabbath day, or you say remember the Sabbath day. Shamor et Yom HaShabbat, or zachor et Yom HaShabbat. And zachor is used as it's an infinitive absolute that's used instead of zichru or shimru, like instead of an imperative. And that sits in my head, and it has sat in my head for years because I struggled with why would they use an infinitive absolute instead of an imperative. But it really is just an aspect of the language, and it's something that we just have to get used to.
The infinitive confunction is an imperative, so that's not
just as an imperative.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So it says, this is in section 123 of Muraoka. And I can't say that French name. Joan. No, the infinitive absolute is a. Come on, go away. Close. There you go.
I just call him John.
John.
Hey, John.
Go ahead. Give me credit for the most popular comprehensive Hebrew grammar on the planet. I don't mind. I'll take it.
I don't know why this thing just goes wherever it wants to go. Logos is a pain in my tuchas. Tuchas is a Hebrew word it's Yiddish.
Yes,
all right, the infinitive absolute is a verbal noun of action. That's why some of its uses are similar to those of the noun, and why some of the others are similar to those of the verb. So it's the act of doing something. Okay, so nominal uses, they've got so many, very rare. The usual nominal use of we're not interested in nominal uses. Main cases, doubt, condition or supposition. The uses of the infinitive absolute are so big and so varied. We normally want to say that the infinitive absolute is used for the intensification of a verb. Haloch halachti, I have indeed gone. Mot yumat, he will surely be put to death. He will be killed. But the problem is that it is so rich in the Hebrew language that it's used in almost any situation. And so I would definitely suggest that you get out a reference grammar and go through it, where they'll give you examples of everything that the infinitive absolute is used for. Because if you look at it, it's just like, wow, so many things. You see? The form of the infinitive absolute, blah, 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 is usually that the conjugation of the main verb, mot, yumat, and so on. Form. I'm trying to find where they specifically said basically that it can be used for everything. Because that's basically what they say eventually. Verbal uses. The infinitive absolute is used as the equivalent of a finite verb at the beginning of a sentence, as equivalent of the imperative, as equivalent of the injunctive future, as equivalent of a future, as equivalent of a present, as equivalent of a past. You see, it's used for everything.
Right.
So, yeah, the infinitive absolute is a confusing form, and it doesn't need to be conjugated for subject, object, or whatever. So that's what makes it a pain.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, I think we've talked about that enough. But we got the basic meaning here, right? Bal namo tu pe'amai, or pa'am, it means once, an instance, and it refers to like the beating of the heart, like the heartbeat. Pe'imot halev. And so from that, you also walk with a rhythm. And so it can refer to steps because you walk with a rhythm. And that's how it's related.
That's the stuff you should make out of the shorts.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
That kind of connection. That's what I put in the Discord, by the way. I did say that. Anyway.
Again, I'll put up the address for the Discord because this is something that we want to throw out because we are really trying to get that off the ground. thehebrewcafe.com/Discord. Please go on if you are at all interested in chatting with us outside of lesson time. Everyone is free to join.
All right.
All right, verse 6.
Ani kiraticha kita aneni el. Hat oznecha li. Hat aznocha li. Shema imrati.
Oznecha.
He said, didn't you say Oznecha?
He did it first, but not the second one.
No, I switched them.
Yeah. All right.
I like that word hot, and I want to talk about that hot. Hot.
Why? Because that's what you are?
No. All right, go ahead.
I have cried out to you. It's not the word. Sure. I've called upon you for. You will hear me, O God.
You will answer.
What did I say here?
You will answer me.
What did I say? Did you hear?
Something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you will answer me, O God. Incline your ear to me. Hear my word.
All right. So why does this word incline? It says hot. Hot oznecha li. What's hot?
It's from the ta, which is like to stretch. So like stretch your ear.
No, it's not lintoa. It's not lintoa with ein. Lintoa. Notea. Is this?
It's from Nataz, Olamed Hey, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's from lintot. Lintot means to incline, to move in that direction. So nitiya is an inclination. You incline in a certain direction.
But it's
so,
like
hifil, right?
It's hifil.
It's a hifil. So cause your ear to stretch out, to incline, or incline your ear.
Because it's the same thing for a tent. You spread out the tent, isn't it?
I think so. I don't know for sure. I think you're right.
Stretch out the tent. Yeah,
I don't think so. Isn't that lintoa? To stretch out, extend. Maybe it is to pitch a tent. Okay.
Noon tet aleph is for planting, isn't it? It's like the
plant.
Aleph,
ein.
Ein, that's what I meant. Ein, that's for planting.
Yeah, it is. Hmm.
call.
Yes, I don't
Yeah,
understand that.
The interesting thing about the verb, though, is that the only thing left from the root is the letter tet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the nun that is assimilated drops out because there's no vowel, right?
Right.
Helhatot is to cause to incline. It's weird that that's the same word as making a tent.
Did you say
Okay.
an attempt? Jason,
Tent.
did I just hear you? Did
No,
you
tent.
Ohel,
A
tent.
to pitch a tent, maybe? To
Yeah.
spread out a tent?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's notice again that the accent on this word, on li, the accent is the two accents, right? We've seen that again and again. It's something that's peculiar to the Emet books, the Job, Psalms, and Proverbs. Emet?
Truth books.
Emet.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call them.
Emet is Iyov, Mishle, and Tehillim. Okay, great. Shema Imrati, hear my word. All right. Jonathan, I think we're back to you.
Are we just now on verse 5?
7.
No, 6.
7. It's right in front of our
Okay.
faces.
Sorry, I'm not looking right in front of your face. I'm looking at my own thing. Hafle hasadecha. Moshiach hosim. Mimit komamim. Biminecha.
Right.
Okay. So interesting. And like, I guess I would translate this as an adverb. Wondrously show your covenant loyalty.
Why not an imperative? Hafle.
Yeah, to show wondrously. It is an imperative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
normally the pele is with aleph, right? Hafle with aleph.
Yep.
And we would take hafle with hey to mean like to distinguish.
Look at the footnote.
I don't see footnotes.
Oh, well.
We're using Step Bible.
Multiple manuscripts have it with an aleph.
Right.
Yeah.
He's looking at the BHS apparatus.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what that symbol is.
Which symbol?
I don't know what symbol you're looking at. We're looking at the Step Bible.
It's not the Septuagint. What is that?
I think that isn't that a T for Targum?
That's a weird looking T, but I think you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. So the Targumim and multiple manuscripts have Pele.
So when I look at that, it says Fragmentum Codices Hebraici and Geniza Kairensi Repertum. So it looks like it's referring to Hebrew codexes in the Cairo Geniza, but I don't know anything more than that.
Where did you get that?
But let's get into the meaning. Hafle chasadecha.
Yeah, so right? Wondrously show your covenant faithfulness. Is how I would do it anyway. Covenant faithfulness.
Moshiach hosim mimit komemim.
Oh, Messiah of those who take refuge at your right.
Messiah is Mashiach. This is deliverer. Moshiach and Mashiach.
Moshiach. And there's another footnote. It's proposed it would be Hosebach. That's interesting.
Hosebach. Those who take refuge in you.
Save the one who seeks refuge in you.
But it's not imperative. It's you save, or the one who saves those who take refuge in you.
No, I'm referring
from the ones attacking them.
Yeah,
I'm referring to the apparatus that Jonathan mentioned.
The note proposes Hoshea.
Yeah.
Right. Hoshea, Hoseh, Bach. Save the one who trusts in you.
Okay, and Jose is taken as a singular.
No, they recoined it as Jose. Jose va instead of Josim.
I don't know if that would make
Okay.
a difference. I feel
But
like
if
that
it's
would
saying, save the one who takes refuge in you, he's talking about himself.
Right.
The psalmist is talking about himself. Save me, the one who takes refuge in you.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Are you going to finish translating? מושיע חוסים ממתקוממים בימיניך.
I wonder if Jonathan is.
Jonathan?
He may be
What?
close. Are
We're
you
wondering if you're frozen because you're not responding.
Oh no, I'm frozen. I got distracted. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I thought we finished
You
the.
need the last two words of the verse.
Oh, well, I translated the whole verse. So
Yeah, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I read the whole thing through. The
In
one who rebels against your right hand, or those who rebel against your right hand. I think. Right?
I would think biminecha is actually modifying Moshiach. It's how you save them. The one delivering those taking refuge with your right hand from the ones rising up. Like they're taking refuge from those who are trying to attack them, and you are delivering them with your right hand.
Well, the NASB agrees with me, but they have a footnote that says, or from those who rise up at your right hand.
Yeah,
That's
the separation of, I realize that word order is not decisive, but I really, if Biminecha was modifying Moshiach, I would really want it to be closer than it is. I understand saying those who trust in you from those who rise up by your right hand. I can see where that would make sense, but I'd want those two terms to be
like it would take Moshiach at the beginning and Biminecha at the end, and it would wrap it around the whole phrase.
Yeah, that's true. That is
so
true.
I don't know how I would take it necessarily, but
yeah,
one of those ways. We're not we're not close to finishing, but here we go. Shomreni ki ishun bat ayin b'tzel knafecha tastireni. So let's start at the end. B'tzel knafecha tastireni, because this is a trope throughout the Psalms. In the shadow of your wings,
I have
hide
a question
me.
or a comment. Let's try to keep comments and analysis to a minimum so we can get through this in the next 7 minutes.
Let's try.
Yeah.
B'tzel knafecha tastireni. Hide me in the shadow of your wings. Shomreni ke'ishun bat ayin. Like guard me or protect me like the pupil of the eye. Ishon bat ayin is the pupil of the eye. Just like you would protect your eye, you wouldn't want something to hit your eye, you're protecting it. Do that to me, right? I think calling Israel the apple of God's eye is an old expression. But the idea is that you would shield your eye from damage, and so also shield me, protect me. All right, back to Henry. Let's try to get through it as quickly as we can.
Nipnei Rashaim Zu Shaduni Oyavai Benefesh Yakifu Alai, I think. From the face of the evil ones who they will destroy me. From the face of the evil ones who destroy me, my enemies against my soul, they surround me. I'm not 100% sure about this. I know that zu is an archaic relative pronoun. Shaduni comes from shadad, to destroy. But the translation feels a little wooden to me. So I'd appreciate improvements to the translation.
Well, we have two from the wicked who do me violence, my deadly enemies who surround me.
My deadly enemies.
My enemies in soul. They surround me.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
The NIV says from my mortal enemies.
From my mortal enemies. What are they translating my? So they're taking that as Oyave Benefesh, my mortal enemies. Okay.
Oyave Benefesh would be my soul, my enemies in soul, and soul means my life.
Okay.
Like they
I never thought of that's a nice idea. I didn't think about that when I read this last night. So, okay.
And we're on verse 10.
𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗢 saguru 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗢 deberu 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪𝗧𝗪. Their fat they have closed, their mouth they have spoken in arrogance. For what it's worth, real quick, just one comment. Alter says like the lathe is like could be implied here. They closed the fat of their heart. But that's all.
All right. And normally the choice part would be the chelev, the fat part, the good part of meat. Notice that sagru is in pause, but it is not pausal. The pausal form would be sagaru. Sagaru. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Geut is ga'ava, pride. Right. All right. Verse 11, Jonathan. Notice the k'ri here.
Okay.
That svavuni is svavuni.
Whoa, there's a lot of notes on this word. Well,
Just remember to try to get through it as quickly as you can. He says, let's not comment too much. And he's like, oh, there's a lot of comments. Don't comment.
Asharuni, is that what it should be?
Ashurenu.
Ashurenu.
This is Ashurenu.
That's what's written.
Yeah.
Right.
Ashurenu ata sivavuni. Sivavuni enehem yashitu lin tot ba'aretz. So they have now surrounded. Let's see. They have now surrounded us in our steps.
In our steps?
In our steps. They have set their eyes to cast down to the ground. So maybe cast us down, implied object.
Yeah, if we take the svavuni instead as svavunu, they have surrounded us.
Yep.
With regard to our steps, this is Ashurenu would be like an accusative of reference. They have surrounded us now with regard to our steps, meaning that they've tracked us down. And nehem yashitu, they would put their eyes, they would set their eyes lin tot ba'aretz. Lin tot probably is lin totenu, to cast us to the ground, something like that. All right. It's again, text needs a modification. Verse 12. דמיונו כאריה יחשוף לטרוף וככפיר יושב במסתרים. So מסתרים are like מסתורים, I guess it's hiding places.
40
like
seconds.
in
Why don't you
ambush.
carry us through the rest of it?
All right, we'll just read it so we can go. Kuma Adonai kadma fanav achri'ehu palta nafshi merasha charbecha. And verse 14, mimtim yadcha Adonai mimtim mecheled chelkam b'chaim utzfincha tmale vitnam yisbeu banim v'hinichu yitram le'olalehem. I feel very tired right now. Ani b'tzedek echzeh fanecha אסבעה וחקיץ תמונתך. As for me, I shall be vindicated, and shall see your face. When I awake, I shall be satisfied with seeing your likeness. All right. Sorry that we had to cut the end very short, but we will see you guys in Wine Green. We're going to finish up chapter 29 or exercise 29 in a few minutes. We'll see you then. Bye, guys. Colton, we'll see you in the next